Water Services Customer Portal tutorial. Learn how to quickly create or access your account to manage your water bill online. Open your web browser, search for Belize Water Services, and click the first link to visit the BWS website. On the top portion of the website, click Online Services tab and scroll down to the Customer Portal. A login page will appear. If you have a registered account, enter your username and password and then click Login. If you don't have an account, you will need to click Register here. Now let's register your account. The first step is to enter your account number as shown on your bill and then press Search. Step 2. If this is your account, click Yes, this is my account. If this is not your account, click I don't see my account. Step 3. Now enter a username, password, and confirm your password, and then click Register. Congratulations, you're now registered. Let's log in. The login portal will appear. Enter your username and password and click Login. You can now view your billing history, check your water usage, and download your current bill, all from the comfort of your home. Thank you for using the Belize Water Services Customer Portal.
Adawa Belizean. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
Adawa Belizean. Of course, I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
Adawa Belizean. Of course, I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't believe it, and of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't believe in, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
the Cycling Federation and as Will Turns present a night of Race for the Garland, the Road to Glory. Good night, gentlemen. I have a group of well-educated cycling analysts here. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, Andrew.
Good night, Andrew.
Good night to all our viewers. Thanks to the Cycling Federation of Belize for putting off this event. Thanks to As the Wheel Turns as well. Thanks to our technical crew. Thanks to Mr. Dave Yearwood and Mr. Stephen Bissett for joining us in the studio tonight to discuss what we love to do. And what we love to talk about is cycling, and especially cycling in Belize.
Definitely, David. Good night, guys. Good night, Belize and the viewers. I think, Andrew, you're going to be the lead man on this table, no? So when you're ready, fire them off and let's get to it.
Yes, fans, we have a beautiful show tonight. We have guests, we have the president here, we have, it will be a wonderful show. We know we are a couple of days from this massive event in 95, the running of the annual whole Saturday cross country race, which will be a monster, something you don't want with your history making here, guys.
Absolutely. Dave, what's your thought on the 95th edition of the Holy Saturday Cross Country?
Good night. I believe that this will be probably one of the best cross-country based on the list of competition. Even though the full amount might not show up, but even with a short list, it's going to be a very competitive race, so that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I believe so. I think, in the recent history of this race, Dave and Steve and Andrew, I think this has been the most foreigners that we have seen so far. Now, we haven't seen the final list yet, but I think we're about 25 plus, and that did not include the border towns yet. We're expecting teams from Guatemala, I understand. We're also expecting a couple of teams from Mexico.
But just for clarification, when we say the 25 plus, those are 25 names that were submitted and have been vetted under whatever criteria the Federation is utilizing, and they are eligible. Doesn't mean that all 25 will be here. So we don't want y'all to start wondering that, boy, we're going to have a big field. Because it could be one, and it could be 25, and it could be anywhere in between. Yeah. And I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle, no?
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of what I said. The final list is not here yet, but I have been in communication with the General Secretary, and it sounds like this year might be a big year for foreigners. But we will see when that list does come out. I'm excited about the race. I get very excited, as all Belizeans do, around this time of the year. Dave and Andrew, the things that Belizeans know, home and abroad, beans and rice, and Holy Saturday cross country.
Yep. I mean, I get so much calls. The fans are some of my fans are nervous. They're more nervous than cyclists. So many fans are waiting for this monster event. It's an annual event. Started as an expedition, and 95 years later, it have blown to smithereens. But folks, we know we have limited time, so we have to get started shortly with the first guest. So who have as our first guest?
I'm going Mr. Oswald Bowman.
So I think the plan was we're going to go to break, then bring the guests on. But I
guess I just want to open up, so we could take a short break and then we'll bring on the first guest.
Okay.
Belizean. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I don't a Belizean. Of course, I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I know a Belizean, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't Belizean. Of course, I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't a Belizean, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
Garland, the road to glory. We are joined by our first guest, Mr. Oswald Bowman. Welcome, Mr. Oswald Bowman.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. Honor being here with you guys with the all-star setup. It's beautiful. And to have the president here too is nice. Pretty good.
So I guess you guys have some questions for Mr. Bowman, or?
Yeah, we do actually. Again, thanks to all the viewers who are joining us here tonight. You know, without you guys' support, you know, cycling is not as big as it is. So it's an exciting time, like I said, for cycling and Belizean cycling in general. We are very, very excited. And a gentleman here to my left who has been very instrumental in the past few months in actually, you know, recognizing some of our great past athletes and current athletes. Mr. Oswald Bowman, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Thank you for presenting a fantastic event back in January, celebrating our legends, followed up just recently this past Sunday.
Yes, pre-cross country celebration.
With the meet and greet. What I'd like to ask you tonight, Mr. Bowman, is tell us a little bit more about what kind of got you excited about cycling, and then what is your goal for Belizean cycling?
Well, you know, cycling, I've been in cycling since about 16, 17 years old, ride 2 cross countries, and was always involved in cycling. And Dave, Andrew, I think we know each other over 40 years, dealing with cycling. And one of my podcasts, I had Kenrick on, and it was beautiful because, like, no one ever did anything for them as legend cyclists. So that's when I came up with the first living legend in January, which was beautiful, very successful. And it was nice to see all of them there. I got a lot of old legends to come in. We had a great time, and they had a great time.
Yeah, I want to ask about the event you pulled off on Sunday, which was the meet and greet, and how did it came about? And, you know, how did you came about with the idea of having a meet and greet, which I think was a good idea?
Well, the meet and greet is a follow-up from Living Legend. Living Legend, we did some for the older or the legend cyclists, older guys. So I thought it was just best to do some for the younger cyclists. And we had everything set up real beautiful. It was a great idea, like you said. But most of the younger cyclists did not show up. So I think there's some kind of disconnect. Because for the Living Legend, we only had about 4 young cyclists show up for that event. So I guess we got to find a way to try and get the younger cyclists involved.
You know, we definitely enjoyed the event. We were all there. I think, you know, one of the biggest challenge is to how do we get the young folks who are, obviously they're thinking about the race, right? They're in training mode, they're in recovery mode. How do we incentivize them, incentivize their teams to support a very important event like the meet and greet? One of the reasons I think the event is very important, Dave and Andrew, is the fact that a lot of cyclists, they're in a uniform per se, right? So the audience, who are the general public, they don't really get to know a face. They don't get to know the personality, right? So what they see is a jersey, colors on a bike. So I think it's a great event for the younger cyclists to kind of embrace that opportunity, meet their audience.
Yeah,
right?
the fans, yeah. Because, like you said, when they were at it, they had the helmet on, the sunshades, the uniform. So that event was to have them out without the helmet, without the sunglasses, and to actually have the fans meet them, you know, and that's what it was set up to be.
Yeah. Kind of what we noticed as well, a lot of influential people there from the diaspora.
Yeah.
So, you know, things do change in Belize quite a bit. You might be on one team today, you might have sponsorship today, next year you might not, right? So it's a great, like I said, it would be a great opportunity for younger cyclists to come out and meet and network.
Yeah.
So they form a relationship, Dave and Andrew, with those people who are influential. They do have resources, but unless they know you personally, they might not want to put their resources behind you. So again, I would love to see this event grow. I will continue to support this, and that's the kind of message I'd like to leave with the young cyclists.
Yes, for events like that, it's just, look, it's in kind of in the best interest to show up. And you meet a lot of great people out there. and you could build on that. So we will continue doing it. Next year we will do it again, and hopefully it's definitely going to be better.
Well, Sek, we want to thank you, man, for doing something like that and keep on make it some annually. Because most of the time when something is started for the first time, most people, they don't get it. You have to run it over 3-4 times before it picks up where people can understand why you're doing it. So.
Well, the Living Legend, that was the first time, and you see was successful. So there's a disconnect between the older guys and the younger guys. At a Living Legend, we got about 200 people, 250 people there.
And I think the main reason for that, like I said, the guys are in training mode, and the race is a very important race, right? So, you know, I can understand why they did not show up, but I can also understand why they should show up. So it's just maybe us educating them the importance of networking. But you're definitely doing a great event, and like Dave said, we'd like to commend you for your efforts. We know things like that do take a lot of resources, guys. So we commend you on that. One of the questions that I'd like to ask you, though, as far as Belizean cycling, Mr. Bowman, how do you see it currently? I think, you know, it's an exciting time right now for Belizean cycling. And then, what would be some of the things that you'd like to see in the future?
Well, yeah, right now it's very exciting. It's one of the best times this time of the year. And moving on and moving in the future. Look, the cyclists are doing pretty good. They're doing great. But it's just a form more of a brotherhood in cycling, and try to do things to have all the younger cyclists work together. You know, have more meetings, more discussions. You know what I mean? And form a stronger brotherhood in cycling.
Yeah, I do believe that you really have the divisions, and we see where past cycling go. We see how much young kids. I think a lot of the kids may kind of shy because some of them, they say they regret they're not going to the show because when I spoke to them, how it was so beautiful. You know, people from the diaspora were there. The same people who helped sponsor races, were looking forward to see cyclists, and they were kind of disappointed that the younger guys didn't show. But some of them were remorseful and said, "Man," and I tell you, we eat up a lot of nice food. We had a great time with the guys. So next time, we'll make sure don't miss out. Come support the thing, and let's that for no benefit. Basically, it's for the benefit of the cyclists. And and young people tend to be very shy, but we want them to come. We'll show them the love, and because remember, you guys are the future. When we are gone, you will take that space, and so we ask you to support stuff like this and build the sport of cycling.
Yeah, but I also want to say thanks to the guys that showed up. The Chav Jr., Pope, Carlton, and Lover.
Greg Lover, right? Yeah.
Greg Lover was there, So I want to shout them out and big thanks. And you guys too. We had a wonderful time. We had the best band, the best DJ. I want to thank Mr. Adonis for setting up the place too. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And the chef that make the food, it was amazing food.
Excellent. With that being said, Mr. Bowman, do you have any plans for future events?
The event to finish out the year, I want to have a cycling Formula Day, where each cyclist bring a dish and bring their kids, their wife, bring the entire family out. But that's going to be more to the end of the cycling season. It's going to be a cycling Family Day, which all cyclists, I'm going to try and get all their numbers or their email, and all of them is going to be responsible to bring a dish. You know, we're all going to have a big family day.
So it's like a big potluck, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's going to be done to finish the cycling year.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for showing up. And we'll take a short break. And when you want to have closing words before you leave?
I want to thank the guys out in Brooklyn that helped Trav get in the bike. Joanne and
Horace.
I want to say big thanks to those guys that work with me to let his dream come true. Guy, he's very happy. I know he's going to do well. And I appreciate you guys all the time.
As well.
Big time.
Definitely see more of you, Mr.
Yeah.
Bowman, and we look forward for future events that you will have. But thanks again. We appreciate you, and I know the fans will appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
We take another break, and then we return with more guests, right?
Correct.
Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I don't Belizean. Of course I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I our Belizean, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't Belizean. Of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't Belizean, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
I know Belizean. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I don't Belizean. Of course I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I our Belizean, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't Belizean. Of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't Belizean, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
Welcome back to Race for the Garland, the road to glory. we are joined by another guest. We have Mr. Smokes Glatton. Good night, Smokes. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good night to all the fans and viewers. Glad to be out there once again, participating in another exciting cross country, because this one seems to be one of the most exciting ones so far since I started participating. So I look forward to a good war on the tarmac.
Smokes, I got some couple questions. So, how many cross country have you rode before this one?
I've rode 13 already. This one will be the 14th one.
14. And what is your expectation? Is it to go out and win the master prize, or is it to go out and just try to finish? What is it?
Well, I always try to finish, no matter regardless of the situation. I always try to come back home, because I try to encourage youngsters them to not give up. Because if we, the older folks, don't give up, I expect the younger folks them not to give up as well. The result on the end one talk for yourself, whatever you put in the training program, that's why I expect you and get out once and have no accident or no bad settings for the day. You should do good.
And how many team members from your team? Because I know you your team, most of the guys is club riders. So how many of you guys will be riding?
Well, 3 of we guys are ride. Kent Bob Gabriel, myself, and Siobhan Flores.
Okay, nice squad. And the sponsorship, what's the name of the team?
Well, we ride for SPD. / Culture.
Well, man, I want to say, I usually give a very small percentage to luck. I believe in abilities, but I would say good luck and best you guys the best of luck on a race. And like you said, this probably might be one of the hardest one. My prediction this year that they will break the record. So you could quote me on that.
New record? Why? I just got a list from the CFB members, and it said so far 103 riders have signed up. We have, in the Open Elite, we have 44 riders. In the Masters Elite, 15. U23, 22 riders. Masters 40 plus, 15. Masters 50 plus, 5. And Masters 60 plus, 2. So for a total of 103 riders.
I wonder who was those bold 60 plus though, to sign up.
Ragged names.
Yes.
So, Kenroy Smokes Glenn, you're no stranger to being interviewed, because you've been one of the more consistent master riders. You know, we've been battling for quite some years. You know, fortunately for me, I will not be battling with you on Saturday, but perhaps next Sunday. But with that being said, we know that you put a lot of time into a race like the cross country. You know, I have witnessed that with you over the years. Perhaps the viewers who really don't understand the level of work and dedication it takes to be an elite cyclist and to ride a race like this. Can you tell us a little bit more about your last 90 days as far as your preparation goes for this race?
Well, to be honest, the preparation starts before the 90 days, but the last 90 days, rest well, eat well, and got a positive mindset in your training world. Because sometimes the trainer you feel like you're not make it over the hump, but just be consistently and believe in what you do, and just push on through, and by the end of the day, the Father will give you the delight.
For this journey, which is 140 plus miles, how many hours or miles per week you would say you average within your last 90 days? Every week out there, 4 weeks a month.
Well, most weeks I try average only 21 to 22 hours for the weeks. If I got a good week, then I try average only 28 hours in the course of the week.
So viewers and guys, that equates to 300 plus miles a week, and that does include some racing as well, because I know you use that intensity as a part of your training. So, like Dave said, luck is a small part of it, but we do wish you the best. Hopefully you get a safe ride, you and your teammates, come Saturday. We know that you guys have put in the time required for a race like this. So we wish you nothing but the best and continued success. We love your positivity that you bring towards the sport, Smokes, and we wish that we'll have you on the show in the future to continue molding the younger guys and kind of let them understand that that's the way moving forward.
I have a question for you, Smokes. what have the foreign riders add to the race, to the cross country, the amount of foreign riders that are competing in these past years?
Well, they bring the intensity to the race because they keep the race very stiff. Majority of the time, they keep the race together. So for the longer journey, it benefit we as Belizean as well too, because when you only have a few of them come in, then it get much harder for we. But when you have a big group of them come in, they help war against each other and then neutralize it and make it a better race. We Belizean, I see it as a success.
And the last question I have for you, what do you want to say to the fans where complain about, you're bringing too much big names and so, the sport is moving to another level. You see that, or riders have take part in some races just over the past few months and they have good success. So it shows that the level is going up. So what would you say to the fans that, tend to say, well, don't bring this one, don't bring that one?
Well, from my point of view, I think it's best to bring in as much as we could get in because only so we can grow. And when they come in, then they notice next Belizean have talent as well too, and then they go outside and they share it, and then eventually more Belizean will be accepted to do international races.
Thank you, Smokes.
No questions? No, like I said, he made a good point right there that most guys, because a guy like a Chav and a Jiven, and even Oscar, over the last 2-3 years, you notice Belizean been getting opportunity to race abroad. So I think probably that happened during cross country and some of these races because they are paying attention also. So I think it's not a bad thing. It's a good idea.
Well, in sports, the only way to get better is to race against the best or compete against the best, right? So obviously there are criteria as far as selecting the riders who do qualify for a race like the Holisardia cross country. So once the rider meets those criteria, once those criteria are met, I believe we should welcome foreign competition because when we go international, we're not going to be racing against ourselves. So we need to raise the level of racing here in Belize so that we become used to that type of intensity, that type of racing, that when we get out there international, we're seeing this success. And Dave and Andrew, we're seeing right now guys being successful on the international level. And the reason I believe they're being successful is because they are racing at a higher level and they're finding races. We've got guys that goes to Guatemala, we've got guys that goes to Honduras, Jamaica recently, Dominican Republic, and they're getting results, right? So that will only continue to raise their level. So we encourage, other riders and other teams to find resources to kind of get those teams and those riders involved in those type of competition too.
I think the top riders don't have a problem with it. I think the fans don't understand it because originally cross country was a traditional thing that goes with Easter. And so when they start traverse and move away from that and make it competition, a lot of people can't accept it that for cross country that a Belizean won't win the race, or they haven't won a race in maybe 5 or 6 years before they win another cross country. But I think once they accept that part, and I know this over the years, they've been accepted it because if you notice, like the cross country finish, when there's a foreigner coming in alone with no Belizean, there's less people at the finish. But once a Belizean, like last year, a lot of turnout because Carton was there all the way to the end. So everybody was hopeful. So I believe that once we continue to have it like that, then they'll just accept it and just make it just a race rather than a tradition.
We said, well, Smokes, we want to wish you all the best and thanks for showing up tonight. Do your thing. Come Holy Saturday.
Thanks very much.
I don't know if you want to pick up anybody for your left.
Yes, well, I always want to big up the family because then I want to have a big supporter. Big up all my friends that will give me encouragement because from the outside they sit on and then they notice things that may happen to me because during this season I'm having the ups and downs, but fans they notice what happen and they give me a buzz personally and tell me, well, I think this will work out best for you and take the advice and listen and see how it work out for the end of the day.
Thank you, Smokes. Folks, we go to another break and then we have more guests in the house. D.
Welcome to the Belize Water Services Customer Portal tutorial. Learn how to quickly create or access your account to manage your water bill online. Open your web browser, search for Belize Water Services, and click the first link to visit the BWS website. On the top portion of the website, click Online Services tab and scroll down to the Customer Portal. A login page will appear. If you have a registered account, enter your username and password and then click Login. If you don't have an account, you will need to click Register here. Now let's register your account. The first step is to enter your account number as shown on your bill and then press Search. Step 2. If this is your account, click Yes, this is my account. If this is not your account, click I don't see my account. Step 3. Now enter a username, password, and confirm your password, and then click Register. Congratulations, you're now registered. Let's log in. The login portal will appear. Enter your username and password and click Login. You can now view your billing history, check your water usage, and download your current bill, all from the comfort of your home. Thank you for using the Belize Water Services Customer Portal.
I know a Belizean. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I know a Belizean. Of course I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I know a Belizean, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't believe you, and of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't want Belize, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
Welcome back to Race for the Garland, the road to glory. more important guest showing up on the show tonight, guys. We have the boogeyman, John Delong, in the house. Good night, John.
Good evening. Yeah, good night. Thanks for having me. It's always great to be back in Belize. And yeah, for those that don't know me, I'm John Delong. This year I'm racing for Team Skyline here in Belize. I think that's the same colors I've been wearing the past couple years. But tonight I got a shirt on from the first team I came down here to race with for. Chris Harkey brought me in 2010 for my first cross country. And I'm happy to be back here 15 years later.
John, everybody know you. You scared Belize. You're kind of the boogeyman, so everybody know you. But you know, my two guys there have some questions for you, some very important questions. So I'll leave up the questionnaires to these guys.
Well, once again, welcome, John. You know, I contacted you earlier today. You said you were flying in, and you've always been a fan of Belizean sports and whatever we're doing here in Belize. So thanks for always supporting us, and you came on the show tonight. What I'd like to do is perhaps ask you a little bit more about your team. Who are you bringing with you this year?
This year's pretty simple. I just got my friend Pat Rains coming. You know, Pat's finished second twice here cross country. So I'm 45 this year. Pat's 55. We're getting a little long in the tooth, but we still have fitness. We have experience. So we bring that to the table. Last year we brought some young guys, Clayton Travis. I would like to bring him back again, but he got Lyme disease last summer, and he's that's good fitness, but it's tough. And then we brought that Max Abner, 23-year-old last year, and I don't know, he doesn't live near me. He didn't reach out, and yeah, my life's busy. It's hard to I don't know. I just went with an old reliable friend.
There you go. Yeah.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask John, if you, I don't know if you have started a list at the other foreign competition. So the question I want to ask, is you familiar with any of those riders on that list?
For that list of 25 riders that came out, yeah, I mean, there's some top names that are on that list. That Ty Magner and Robin Carpenter, they scared me. I said, wow, all right.
Yeah, from the list also, those two names stand out. Either another guy that stand out to me also is Summerhill.
Yeah.
So there is some good riders, and that's why I predict that the race, that the record the record will be broken this year. But I know with your experience, I know that you know how to read races and stuff. So I don't know if the competition will make a difference in terms of you not being fit, or it's going to be because they are much better than you are.
Yeah, when it comes down to the end, that's when the young guys like Robin Gardner, if they have the strength, you know, the race is theirs. But you learn how to read a race and use the strength you have. That's what I call experience, and I think me and Pat have that. And what do we do with that? Do we get lucky? You know, that's the hard part. That's racing, but that's what excites me and Pat still, and why we're still here. We're willing to take that risk and use this as fitness to train and be better in our lives.
Yep, fantastic. No, we know that you were not here to defend your Creme Classic 2024 because of an unfortunate accident. Tell us a little bit more about that. Have you recovered 100% from that? And also tell us about your preparation specifically for this race, John.
All right. Well, yeah, so I run a race ride every Wednesday nights during daylight savings time back in my hometown. And we were setting up for a fast sprint, and usually we peak out at, like, it's down a hill and around this corner. And I usually, if I lead that corner, I do the lead out, I hit it at 40 miles an hour. So we were coming up that turn, we were at 35, and I got a kid bump me, and it was either like I hold my ground and he falls down, or I adjust and hope we save it. So he was able to stave up, so I feel I made the right choice, but then my front wheel went off the road and I wasn't able to, you know, save it. I was banking on my experience to do something. So I pile drived into the ground at 35 miles an hour and broke a rib. That was easy recovery, but like 35 miles an hour, a lot of energy to stop suddenly from, and so it shook up my insides, so I wasn't able to recover and be prepared for New Year's Day. But it's been some time since then, so now I've been working hard and the slow recovery, but feel my fitness is good, and I'm banking on experience. So.
Well, you definitely look good. You look fit. So again, thanks for coming here. And I know that you've put in the work. Like Dave said, you've got the experience. You've ridden this race now probably 10, 11 times. You've been in the top 5.
Yeah, I've been third twice, second once, and definitely some fourths, maybe 3 of them.
So definitely an impeccable record. But we expect a good race from you, a competitive race. We expect you to be around, definitely. Like you said, there are some young, strong guys that are coming. But we also have some young, strong guys as Belizeans as well. And with the experience, the older guys like yourself and Rains, who's pretty solid as well, has been second twice. You guys will definitely be good competitors for those guys.
We'll see. We'll give it our best. And yeah, I've been watching the Belize scene down here. It's really great with the coverage Andrew provides at the Lee races. And I'm going to go to the Gons race tomorrow morning, so I watch Gons every Thursday and see the Weekend Warriors or the local Belizean city guys racing there. Gons is, it makes my Thursday great.
You have any more questions for John?
Go ahead.
Well, John, you said something. I think you scared some of those riders because if you're the boogeyman and you said you're scared of those guys, what do you think of the guys that are scared of you? You're double scared, right?
Well, hopefully it scares them straight, right? Because if they're focused on me, they're going to miss those other top guys going. And so that's a bit of what my experience is. It's not focusing on one person, but like, have a feeling for the race, when, you feel that energy starting to build in the race and like, oh, something's going to happen now. Because it's going to take a couple of the top guys to commit and ride away. 3 years ago, me and Marlon had a talk before the race and said we were willing to work each other. And that's how we got that breakaway with me, Marlon, and Pope. So I don't know. People want to race against me, and then the boogeyman, there's nothing to be afraid of, and we can all finish at the back. I've lost a lot of races.
Are you anticipating an early break? How are you going to ride this race? Personally, perhaps you have a different strategy from Rains, but how do you see yourself on Holy Saturday morning starting the race? Are you going to try to get an early break, perhaps take some pressure off Tim, or you're going to wait for a later move? What are your thoughts?
Well, with age, yeah, I don't have the fitness I used to be able to go 140 miles all day, but I have to be ready to go early. So you have to start and be prepared and identify if the race is going to drive early, or you also get a feeling like if people are going to ride what I call negative, where they're going to let someone go. I don't want to be in that situation either. So it's like, all right, but I can't be the weld to always pushing it back together either. So there's a lot of choices to be made on the road, and that's what we're all here for.
Yeah, and I think Dave and Andrew, with the mix of talent here in this race, the foreigners, the border town folks, right? I don't foresee a negative style of racing this race. I would more see the race staying together a little bit more longer than it's used to. I don't foresee an early break. What do you guys think? I think perhaps coming back out of Cayo, I think the race is gonna start, in my opinion.
The race will be fast. I'm telling you, that record, you remember what that break the record this year. Well, there's some strong guys, and strong guys, they ride technical early to like feel out each other, but once a break get up the road, you miss that break, bro. It's gonna be a long day. So Belizean cannot, because foreign riders don't ride, like their style is different from us. So once they farm a break, they're trying to stick. They're not trying to farm a break and then have someone come back, especially if it's a group of them. Like I figure like 6, 7 strong guys can stay away all day in a race like that. So maybe one guy will be tough, but 6, 7, 8 of those strong guys together with a couple local Belizean, yeah, they can stay away all day.
I kind of agree with that, but what I'm thinking as well, because the race is going to be fast and they're going to be racing, you'll have the peloton following. So I think you have enough strong guys who are not necessarily going to be in front of the race, but they'll be moving with the other strong guys who are trying to create a break. So when things settle down a little bit and some legs are starting to burn, coming back out of Cayo, I think that's where some of the strong guys, like you said, maybe 6, 8 guys, are going to get away, and that's going to be the race. That's kind of how I see it playing out, especially with a tailwind. What we're expecting, a tailwind heading out of Belize to Cayo.
Yeah.
It might be.
But also the station price makes it difficult because most of the time I'm talking about local Belizean, and we have a habit of freewheel after winning a sprint stage. That's the worst thing to do because foreigners will look right through that and they will go right after that, and there is a break. So especially the lucrative station price where a bunch of guys are going to be sprinting and then freewheel, those are the ones you have to watch for, the counter attack. Those are them the ones.
Yeah, taking advantage of a situation like that. Even in my experience here, I have trouble remembering where the station prizes are, where the Belizeans tend to know. And last year there were a lot of station prizes from Roaring Creek to St. Ignacio and back. And so, I don't know, people are paying attention. I think they want a piece of that because there's a lot of money right up there.
Yeah, and I have what it would be like this coming Saturday. It has 90 to 95 degrees, which is pretty hot. It's 14% humidity, so you're dry, low chance of rain, wind from the east at 10 to 15 miles an hour. So definitely would be some ruction and destruction. I have some information too. We have 80 local riders and 15 foreign riders. This exclude border tongue riders who, from Mexico, Guatemala. So if you add that, we probably have about 25%, we just say foreign riders, but we don't really call it border tongue, right? Foreigners, because we cross the border. But should be a very interesting race. But John, we want to wish you all the best. Thanks for showing up, and we see the boogeyman in action.
Thank you.
Saturday. So.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always an honor to be here in Belize.
Okay. So take a short break. Yeah.
Welcome to the Belize Water Services Customer Portal tutorial. Learn how to quickly create or access your account to manage your water bill online. Open your web browser, search for Belize Water Services, and click the first link to visit the BWS website. On the top portion of the website, click Online Services tab and scroll down to the Customer Portal. A login page will appear. If you have a registered account, enter your username and password and then click Login. If you don't have an account, you will need to click Register here. Now let's register your account. The first step is to enter your account number as shown on your bill and then press Search. Step 2. If this is your account, click Yes, this is my account. If this is not your account, click I don't see my account. Step 3. Now enter a username, password, and confirm your password, and then click Register. Congratulations, you're now registered. Let's log in. The login portal will appear. Enter your username and password and click Login. You can now view your billing history, check your water usage, and download your current bill, all from the comfort of your home. Thank you for using the Belize Water Services Customer Portal.
I Belizean. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I don't Belizean. Of course I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I know a Belizean, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't Belizean. Of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't want Belizean, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
Welcome back to Race for the Garland, the road to glory. We are coming live and direct to you from the BWS building here on Central American Boulevard. We have our next guest in the house. We have Joshua Fuller. Good night, Joshua.
Good night, Mr. Doris. Good night, Mr. Dave, and good night, UN. It's a pleasure being here with you guys tonight. Thank you guys for having me here.
Yes, welcome. Josh, who is no stranger to cycling in Belize. A couple of years ago, this young man was riding phenomenal, probably one of the fastest guys in Belize just a few years ago. You know, he took some time off for personal reasons, you know, work and education, which we commend him for doing that, but he's back now, full throttle again. I'm excited to see him back in the peloton. I'm excited to get out there and ride with him sometimes. So, Josh, can you introduce yourself to the viewers? Tell us a little bit more about, you know, who Josh Fuller is and your team you ride for, perhaps some of your teammates for this race.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Like I mentioned, my name is Joshua Fuller, and I ride for Team Santinos. My team consists of myself, Joshua Fuller. We have Jocelyn Chavaria. We have James Alford, but as you know, James had a unfortunate accident, so he'll be sitting this one out. But we will have him in the service truck with us, still helping us. And since the Valentine's tour, we also have Big Sam, who came across with us, and he's also riding from then, and he will be doing cross country with us. So that is our team for this upcoming Holy Saturday cross country.
So Josh, I got a couple questions here. One, what is your expectation for this year? I know you have a little more experience than the previous years. What is your expectation?
I'm expecting a fast race, pretty much from the get-go. Like you mentioned, for me, it's mostly since the year start and the season, I'm going by my experience and I'm using it, and so far I've been seeing some good results. I won't say the best of me so far, but I've been finishing the race right up there. I'm feeling my training is going well. I'm feeling comfortable, and I'm ready to race. From here.
So what kind of miles did you put in for this race? A lot of endurance ride or speed ride, or or a mixture of both?
For me, I had a mixture of both. I must thank Mr. Warren. He is, as you know, he's my coach. He's been there with me for like at least 6 to 7 years now. So for me, I have on the weekends, I would say a Saturday ride with the crew that I usually go through the whole Northern Road. That's a speed ride for us. And then some Sundays I'll meet up to you guys. Some Sundays I will leave from my home at 4 to get in a 8 hours endurance ride, which will be from here to Cairo and back. So I have a few of those under my belt, and I also have a few 120 miles. So for me, endurance is something that I enjoy. You know, they're just riding. So I think that's the edge that I have so far that's helping me pretty much.
If I'm not mistaken, you won a classic before, didn't you? Some years
I've
back?
won the September Classic, and you consider it Belmopan, but they changed the name. At that time, it was the West Trap Mombat race when they were promoting the Mombat battery. But yeah, those two you consider.
Good.
And recently, for me, I enjoyed that race, and I came fourth.
Yeah.
Last Belmopan Classic. So
Yeah, like I said, Josh was one of the top guys, you know, in Belize just recently. Yeah, I remember quite clearly, you know, his dominance as far as the local races. He was very dominant, very fast. So I am happy to see him back in the peloton. I'm happy to see him training. Again, like he said, Mr. Warren Corey, he has been doing a phenomenal job with Josh. We want to certainly encourage the older guys to give back in those regards, right, as far as coaching and their knowledge. No use keeping it to yourself, and we'll commend Warren for doing that, because definitely we're seeing that you are trusting his process and you're seeing some results now. Josh, with that being said, what is Team Santino's strategy for Saturday? How are you guys going to ride the race?
I think it's pretty straightforward for us. As you know, Chav is our main go-to guy. If that with a 6th place from last year, I believe Chav is in great form. He will be the guy that we will protect and the guy that we will sit in that position as much as possible to be up there, and hopefully he can deliver for us and for the country coming this Saturday.
Fantastic, and both of us, all three of us, we know that Chav is an experienced rider, and you know, we like his riding style as well. So that's a good strategy for Team Santino's. What do you guys think?
I like how Josh come out and say they're the ride for Chav. You understand? And I hope more teams would come and say this is who will ride for. It will make the race more interesting. Yeah? Like we mentioned in the past, Josh, you know, the guys say we know what to know who will ride for cars. No, it's no secret. Tell it, come out, be bold, say yes, we the ride, and I love that you guys, and Chav is ready. He have been preparing for this race, and I'm happy that you guys came out and said that's it, you're going to ride for Chav. So look out for the auction and destruction.
I think Chav is on the phone standing by.
Oh, he's on the phone. All right,
yeah.
Good.
I have some questions for him.
Good night, Chav.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, Chav, you hearing us?
Yes, sir. Hello. Good night.
Go ahead.
Good night, Chav. You hearing us?
Good night.
Yeah, Dave, you said you have some questions for the Chav, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. First question would be, how you feeling, man?
Sure, I'm a bit nervous, basically. You know, although I do a lot of this already, but I feel really nervous. I don't know why, but you know, just hoping for a good game.
So one of the things I must commend you for, I remember some months ago we had a chat with Bike Chat, and I was impressed because you was one of the riders in Belize that was using numbers, and I was thinking that a lot of people didn't know about it, and when we discussed it, I was kind of taken aback the amount of stuff you know, and I commend you for that, and I figure with you having a young brother like Derek, and Derek definitely ride with numbers too, that kind of helped you a lot. So I must say that you are one of the guys that I'm telling guys not to look past, because you have the experience and you was 6th place last year. So my next question would be, how do you feel about the foreign competition, and if you are familiar with any of the guys that will be coming in for Saturday?
Yes, sir. Well, the foreign competition, very solid crowd to come in. You know, nobody to take lightly. You know, I'm not taking none of my foreign competition lightly. I take all of them very seriously, because they're not travel all the way from the country to come for ride this race to just be a member. So I know they're going out there with a mentality for win, and but definitely, you know, to be some forces to reckon with.
Yeah, Chav, it's good to see you back. We know that you're a very experienced rider. We've seen that you like Josh had taken some time off the bike to focus a little bit more on work and perhaps family, but you have been back now for several months and have been pretty consistent. The training that you have done, Jocelyn, is starting to show now. Obviously, this is a race that you're quite familiar with, right? So what is your expectation? Now, there's no secret anymore. You are the leader of this team. Team Santino's going into Saturday's race. What is your expectation, individual expectation
Well,
for Saturday, and also your team's expectation?
Well, to to be, very honest is that my job, the police coast guard, I have to big them up fully, because they are behind my training when it comes to preparing time. They gave us six cyclists, six Belizean cyclists, 3 months off to train for this race. So I have to make sure to big up the Belize Coast Guard because without them I wouldn't have been probably staying my time. Lately I've been putting in the time, putting in the effort, and racing my bike every time I have the chance. I try not to regret anything when I go out there on the road. At least I know I live it all on the road. So I try to ride as aggressive as I possibly can. And as small as my team is, I still try to motivate and try to get the guys in, to prepare as best as possible because you know for a country that are race very quickly, you don't know what to go, you don't know who could end up in the break if you know pay attention, from the start of the race, the basically the race because sometimes breaks do farm early, sometimes breaks farm late, but you just have to stay attentive and knowing who to go into the break.
Excellent, Chav, and it sounds like, that's kind of what we want to hear. It sounds like you are ready to race, you're prepared, and I am sure that you'll perform. Is there anyone else that you'd like to give credit to who's helping you prepare? I know you're excited about that new machine that you're on, which is going to add some motivation as well to your performance.
I really appreciate that they give me this time out to big up the people behind the new Tech My Brain Gen 7 2023 machine. Mr. Oswald Bowman is the guy behind the scenes along with the Byers brothers in New York. And to also big up all in New York too, that was behind the sales and the food sales and other drive, like the college legal drive. I said that there were a lot of people behind this project, and I know an easy project to get together, but I have to get the Byers brothers, Mr. Juan and Harriet Byers. I think in the problem here about them. They have a bike shop in New York. And not to forget my girlfriend who keeps on being a nutritionist, my cousin, Joe Pennell in New York. She's also my nutritionist as well. And my mom, my dad, my family, everybody who keep on believing in me, my son, everybody. My Team Santino, Joshua Fuller, James Alfred, the Sam Valseo, my driver, Philip, I would say the guy that helps with the refreshment, service personnel, Jose Mayorga, and not to forget the chief cantinas, for believing in me and my team. Last year it was only me, and this year now we have a small team going into the cross country, so I have to commend the chief cantinas to orchestrate this mission for us. I have to thank him. So.
Yeah, Chav, thank you again for that interview. Josh, you want to say your final words?
For me, I'd just like to thank everyone who have been supporting me. My family, my mother, my dad, my two brothers. Of course, I have my work, the BTB crew, my CCD. They always motivate me, they cheer me on. Mr. Scott, we always back and forth at work about bikes, so just like to big up them. Of course, my coach, Warren Koye, Miss Janelle as well, and our sponsor, Chief Santino, our service crew, Kello, Jose. I can't forget as well Chief Weiss, who will be making us some great sandwich coming into this cross country. So my daughter as well, who's at home. Shout out Miss Dana as well, who always tolerates me at her home. So yeah, thank you guys for having us here, our entire team, and look forward to a great Holy Saturday coming up in a very short time.
Yep, fantastic, Josh, and we'd like to, on behalf of the CFP, as the Wheels Turn family, Dave Yearwood, Andrew Adonis, would like to say thank you to Team Santinos for representing here on the show tonight, and thank you guys. I wish you all the best.
Thank you guys for having us as well.
Yes, so we go to break, and when we come back, more guests.
Welcome to the Belize Water Services Customer Portal tutorial. Learn how to quickly create or access your account to manage your water bill online. Open your web browser, search for Belize Water Services, and click the first link to visit the BWS website. On the top portion of the website, click Online Services tab and scroll down to the Customer Portal. Login page will appear. If you have a registered account, enter your username and password and then click Login. If you don't have an account, you will need to click Register here. Now let's register your account. The first step is to enter your account number as shown on your bill and then press Search. Step 2. If this is your account, click Yes, this is my account. If this is not your account, click I don't see my account. Step 3. Now enter a username, password, and confirm your password, and then click Register. Congratulations, you're now registered. Let's log in. The login portal will appear. Enter your username and password and click Login. You can now view your billing history, check your water usage, and download your current bill, all from the comfort of your home. Thank you for using the Belize Water Services.
Yes, good night, and we are back. We are back with two of Belize's best, Javin Gonzalez and Derek Chavarria. Both of them just got back from, I think, a tour of Redlands. And before that, they was in Jamaica, doing the tour of Jamaica, and they performed real well. So the first question will go to Chav. Chav, you know you have a lot of weight on your back for this cross country. Your name is the hottest name around dinner table right now for the person to win it if there is one from Belize. How do you feel about Saturday's race?
First and foremost, good night, everybody. I think, the closer the race comes, the more you feel all the emotions, the race, and all the traditions behind it. Just kind of the pile up the back of your head. So I think the main thing is that we try going to the race with a calm mind. You don't want to make any silly decisions throughout the race. So I think the preparation, it was nice. So I think now that just will depend more upon the mind game and the mindset going into the race.
The next question will be, how do you feel about the competition? There's a lot of talk around the foreign competition right now. it's well stocked. Are you familiar with any of the guys them there, or have you raced against any of the guys them on that list?
So I've raced against majority of them. There's I'd say maybe 4 or 5 guys I haven't raced against, and those might be the guys that play a huge role. So I still don't know what to expect. So I mean, on Sunday we figure out, we see how the riders will ride at the start, and I think that will kind of show how they are finished at the end.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome, Derek, and welcome, Jaiven. You guys are household names in Belize and international as well. And there's a reason for that, Dave. These two young men have been preparing tirelessly over the last, I would say, 18 months or so. We have seen a significant increase in their performance. And first off, I'd like to say, I am very proud of you guys as far as young men and what you're bringing to the sport and how you're racing and raising the level. You're competing every race, like I've always said. These two young men have always been in the top 5 towards finishing a race. With that level of consistency comes a serious level of dedication and hard work, right? So, Jaiven, we'd like to start off with you. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about your preparation leading into the most important race on the racing calendar.
First, I said good night to everybody. Well, leading up to the race, I had a few target races, where helped me prepare for this cross country, with the distance of the race, so 145, only top 146 miles that I'm walking at the park. So, I made it more depend on the racing outside with the intensity and the more aggressive racing on the outside, like for example the Tour of Jamaica we did and the Redlands, so very high level racing, and just put more focus into those races, and those races I feel like prepare me enough to get ready for this cross country.
Excellent. And as Dave said, there's no secret, right? You are two of Belize's hopeful here with us tonight. Personally, I'm expecting, great things on Saturday. If either you win on Saturday, it's not a surprise for me, obviously, right? With that being said, do you feel any level of pressure on you to perform, or are you okay with this pressure? I know you're a young guy. You're 24, 25 now. How do you feel going into this race, Jaiven?
No pressure. I don't feel no pressure at all. At the end of the day, we just need to go in there with a calm mind, cool mind. I feel like if we go in there with a chip on our shoulder, we are probably make some silly mistakes and probably cost for the race. So I don't feel no pressure. I was going there, race my back to the best of my ability, and see how the race plays out. Just have to ride a smart race. We have a lot of good competition going into the race with the foreign riders and also some of the Belizean guys, but my main focus is to just go out there, race my bike, and that's why I do every race, I'm not planning to stay at the back, sit up on the ride 15 miles per hour, so I'm doing the best after the racing bike, and hopefully we'll get the results we'll get from.
I mean, you're coming off some impressive victories and races. You have ridden the Alfred Parks race, and in my opinion, dominated that race and came out with the victory. And that was a pretty stiff race from a local perspective, and that's why I am tagging you as one of the top Belizeans. Followed by the most recent race, which is the Bowman Classic, which you guys rode phenomenal again. Derek Chavarria just destroyed the field. He showed that his level is definitely up on the top, Dave. And you pretty much did the same thing to the back crowd and came in second in that race, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So I'm very, very optimistic. I'm bullish on my results for Saturday, Dave. I'm going out on the limb and saying if there's a Belizean to win this race, it's going to be one of these two young men. Chava, you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, all the preparation, put in throughout the past months. You know, me and Javen, we've been on the road a lot of times. You know, so honestly, I kind of just want to see payoff. I mean, shucks, we out there almost to come back like 12 on days one. I mean, we try left early, right? So, it would just be very satisfying if we come home to the Garland and, you know, at least within the G4 cycling team. So, that's what we hope for.
I just want to say something quick tonight that I noticed with both of them. You notice when both of them walking, they was drinking liquid. And so that's a pre-race preparation. And more cyclists need to practice that. Right? You guys just keep throw it up. You don't have to do it on the day before. So when a silent came in with that in their hand, you already know that the level of riding and the kind of work they're putting in and how they're carrying themselves like actually pros. Actually, they're probably living a pro life right now.
Absolutely. Well, just from their physical makeup, you can see that the work has been done. We know what it takes as cyclists as well to prepare, for races, to train. It's not easy, and you can look at these two young men and know that they're ready for the journey. And we've seen the body of work, Dave, that they've been doing, right? And we've seen the results. The tour. Well, we'll start with the Dominican Republic. Derek went down to the Dominican Republic and rode phenomenal. He was not just a number in the peloton. He was very competitive. Perhaps, Derek, tell us a little bit more about that race and how that race will help you Saturday.
Honestly, throughout the race, it wasn't very mountainous. We had one stage that had a 45-minute climb, but that was the only stage out of the 7 that was tough. The rest, once you sit in the crowd, with the group and all of the drafts, make it very easy to just hang out in the peloton. But the stage that I won, stage 5, I was forced to make a breakaway because I wanted to make time for U23. So I think that was the hardest stage for me because like 60 Ks to go, we had to make a move, and the guys didn't want to move at first, but eventually they came, and for run 60 miles away from the Medellin train, not easy. So all we worked together, and we had some pretty strong guys in our breakaway. We went up the stick, and the racing. I mean, you race against continental teams at those events, so the racing definitely hard. So I think all those are good preparation, especially with it being 7 days.
Absolutely. And Dave, the level of competition that these young men are racing in is phenomenal. You're talking about ex-world pro riders who are in these peloton, and they might be a little older, but with that level of experience that they have, they're still riding at a very, very high level. And for these two young men, Chav won a stage. Javen was second in Jamaica. Tell us a little bit more about that, Javen, riding at that level. And you're looking at guys who, a few years ago, we used to watch on TV in the Tour de France, right? So this is very, very high level, ladies and gentlemen, and we have our young Belizeans who, when I see this, I'm happy and proud because I understand the level of competition. Tell us about, how you feel in those races and knowing that you're winning against these type of level of riders.
Well, going into the stage, we get we get to see the stage beforehand, with either one book or we go online and we say like how hard the stages would have been, So watching it, I think the second stage, the second stage I get second. I think a little bit too hard for me because I know Medellin and the other Colombian team, they knew I want to try find time against each other, so I know they may ride the climb super hard, and somebody at my stature, 6'3", 175, if I'm in a good shape, I find it a little bit difficult to get over the climb compared to somebody where that was 130 pounds or something like that. So, my main goal going into that stage was me try survive the climbs, and NU and Medellin did me fight against each other a lot, so they ride the climb super hard, they try to reduce the group, so the sprinter have one more safe and better chance for good sprint. Ending up getting lead distance on one of the climbs there, but I end up get back to the group and recover enough to contest the sprint. And you know, and just experience beat me at the end. No, one of the Medellin guys, you know, man, just clipped me at the end. I line on the bike push, you know. But I try to get the win, but you know, that cycling sometimes, you know, even at the could train, and they just have somebody probably, but they just have that little edge over, you know. So, you know, I think that may a good racing against those guys, you know. It's super hectic, you know, at the 5 kilometers to go, you know, that one fight between Medellin and Inu to get them lead out train together. So we the sprint even before the sprint. So we are ready to see speeds up to like 43 miles per hour, 5 kilometers from the finish because the two teams want to control the race. So they see the high speeds and you know at those high speeds and guys they bump and pushing, you know, you're very dangerous and you know you just have you know we don't really want to take risks because we try to focus on the other races. So you know I end up get good position coming into a couple meters from the line, but you know, I never just pull up these shot on it. But you know, maybe next year or some other race down the line, you know, we get the dog.
Yeah, absolutely, and you guys haven't been racing a lot of these races, so I commend them, Dave, because
with the speed too,
very impressed with the level of speed, the hectic. These guys, Team Medellin, and you, they're in these races all the time. Our guys are not. So we're jumping from races to races. Again, those guys have all their teammates. You only have just you and Derek, right? So it's a big difference as well. So that shows folks that we have some serious talent in Belize, Dave, and we can certainly go to that next level. I don't think we're far off at all. Both of these gentlemen. Well, Jiven came within, like you said, within a bike push of beating some phenomenal riders. Chav won a stage in DR against some of the same competition as well. I'm very impressed with that, and that's why my hope for Saturday is so high with the G Flow team and specifically Derek and Jiven.
And also remember that Jiven won a silver medal also, so he have the experience. But the question I want to get up before you guys leave, which one the race was the hardest? Because I was following the Redlands and I watched the time trial and one of the hill stage there was crazy. So was that the hardest of, was it the hardest race you did between the race in Jamaica, Dominica and Redlands?
Definitely Redlands. I'll definitely go with Redlands. Redlands are a super hard
I saw
race.
some of the names then from Redlands that's coming to Belize too, and like Jim Brown and them. And so I said I was going to ask you guys if Redlands looked like it was real hard, because I know Corey Lockwood is a top time trialist and he got like 4th place. So I said to myself, if he can finish 4th over there, I already know that the competition is stiff.
So was Redlands a little bit more lumpy?
Mountain.
Oh yeah,
mountain. 50-mile climb.
Yes, so like 2.5 hours, 10,000 feet of climbing, we were 7,000 feet above sea level. So, we had altitude and we had to deal with. I get altitude sickness, so I come out at the time limit for the mountain stage,
So although it's funny, although a race like that, it forces you to push your body to that next level. And those are the races. Actually, that race will prepare you great for Saturday. Exactly. So you'll have that in. You guys already know that you can handle a high intensity, the high speed from DR, from Jamaica. But then getting up to that altitude, when you recover from that, now you'll have that fire in you. So it's not always, ladies and gentlemen, it's not always about the end results and where you are on the finish list. It's about what you're gaining from a race going into the next race. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. The altitude, it's different. The air a little bit more thin, so hard for me to catch my breath. Ending up feel horrible after the stage. End up finish the stage. I was probably just like 1 minute out of the time limit. Stage definitely for sure never suit me. Too much climbing. For me, so
yeah. And how did you did?
I don't vomit like 3 times after the race. I don't vomit in years.
Yeah, on that stage I did 23 minutes behind the leader. Did the first race, the winner. Which is still a long time. That just goes to tell you that the caliber of those guys. Whew.
Who ended up winning that race?
The overall was Eder Fair from Mexico.
Okay, and that's Legion.
No, he also ran the Blazers.
Oh, Blazers, okay.
But I think that stage, the second stage was won by a guy from North Carolina, Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem, yeah. The
Well,
team out of USA.
isn't he the Mexican road champion also, right?
Yeah.
Fryer,
Yeah.
right? That guy have a resume, yeah.
Yeah, he was a serious contender.
If that level of competition.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he rides for Blazers.
Yeah.
He's not on the list. He's not on the list,
Does
right?
he qualify to ride in Belize?
No, he's not on the
But
list.
Blazers is not a Continental Pro team, right? They're just Continental.
It's just a club.
Club. Okay, so he'd be qualified to ride in Belize.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
He's not on the list. I already checked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, there's no secret here. Again, you guys are the 1-2 punch for Team G Flow. Can you tell us a little bit more about the members on your team? Either one of you, the members on your team who are going to be lining up on Saturday, and then what's your team strategy for? Other than just winning the race, what's your team strategy for Saturday? Is it going in an early break if there's an early break? Is it you got a point in the race where you guys say, well, this is the time to start racing?
So I'll do the team introduction and I'll leave Javin to do the planning, or, the race plan. But so starting off, we have up north we have Jalen Briseno. He's a U23. Recently came from juniors this year. He's his first year in U23. In U23. Then also more up north we have Hollister Baptist. He is our elite rider. He's also riding really well right now. We have I think Taran Tasher will also be lining up with us. He's a masters rider, but he's very crucial in management and also helpful to just maybe grabbing some water or so. But these are roles of that a team needs. So we definitely appreciate all the guys. We have Eric Trapp. He's a local city guy. Eric is also training a lot recently. He just upgraded to a nice bike, and we hope to see good results from him. And we have Jafar Castro from San Ignacio. Jafar has been training with us multiple occasions. Sometimes he reaches our house early. We kind of have to chase the man.
Yeah.
But, and then of course we have myself and the Javin Gonzalez. Two are we from Georgeville, and we basically ride every day together. So I guess me and Javin know each other almost like the back of our hand. So we very knowledgeable about each other and our capabilities. So I think that's what makes our combination very great. Just that chemistry we build every day on a daily basis. So I think we have a good team coming into this cross country. Definitely what I want, wish we could have had better preparation with the guys from the other teams, like maybe a small team camp like we did last year, but due to all the racing and stuff outside the country, it was a bit tough to kind of gather the team around and do that. But I'm optimistic about Saturday.
Excellent. I see you guys have a new color as well for Saturday.
Yes, new color.
Excellent.
So, I'll leave Javin to give us the rundown on Holy Saturday. So.
Yeah, well, like going into the race, like what I said, cycling unpredictable at times, so most of the times, so our main goal, is to be attentive, stay up front. We don't want to have one breakaway up the road and we don't have no G Flow representatives, with it in the cases. So if we don't have no representative in the moves, whether they go up the road, the first thing, they say, oh, G Flow need the chase, right? So, but if we have a couple numbers up front, that way we could just, lay it back and, expect the other teams then to chase, and also a lot of money to give up on the road, so, we have try to put a couple guys out there for do a lead thing, get a couple prizes, like we Belize, I know that say, fully kitty, so, we have guys for that, we have guys who will probably go to back and a couple battles, for the me, Travel, everybody, even me, sometimes I play the battle duty, nothing, no shame in that, everybody play a crucial role on the team, our plan, is to just be upfront, be attentive, anticipate attacks, and just make sure we just stay focused and make sure everybody on the same plan and everybody got the right mind going into the race. Communication to them, our key factor in the race, so if everybody to communicate throughout the race and even right up to Derek, right up to Jalen, right up to Jafar, how you feel, bro, need anything, that thing a big thing, just uplift each other in the race, because this race now a super hard race, I give mixed emotions, feel good, feel bad, feel good again, feel horrible, probably want to come out of the race, feel good again, a lot of those cross country, super tough race, and I feel like, we have a good chemistry like what Derek said, just that the other guys we just separated a bit and me Derek Jafari living at the Kaya side and Hollister and Jalen up north and then Eric living at the city, so when we try our best to have everybody train together when we could. We just chat up, I try to reach out to everybody on the team, give them a call and I say how they feel about the race, and so far, good responses, everybody feel good, so hopefully we'll have a good race.
Do you have any more questions?
I would just say good luck on the race on Saturday, and I know you guys going to do well because I know you prepare well, but my last question will be in terms of hours, on an average, how many hours you guys do per week, more or less?
It varies, every day there are different type of training, you have your rest days. People take rest days for granted, that are one of the most important days I feel like in the week, especially if you train hard, like for super hard races. So on a daily basis, 5 hours a week. That's a joke.
5 hours a day, you mean?
No, the reason why I asked that question because you see a lot of guys here, certain riders like amateur ride a certain amount of hours, but on the professional level, most of the guys ride on average at 20 to 30 hours.
Yeah.
So if they're within that range, I already know, more or less what kind of ride, and guys can know. Cyclists can read each other. If a guy tell them, man, I'm doing 22 hours a week, they already know that person. But I also want to say that I like the way they're at right now, and hopefully that they can share some of this with some of the younger guys in cycling beliefs, because I think that Jiven, Derek, and Chab Jr., because I spoke to him, they really got the know-how in terms of preparation, and I think that goes a long way. And then you would throw Oscar into that mix because Oscar had the exposure the same way. So the guys that get exposure always, to me, will have an edge on the guys that just stay here because they learn this after they leave and go outside.
Absolutely, Dave. One of the questions that I do want to ask is, how do you feel racing against your brother? I know you guys do that quite a bit. I don't think I've ever asked you that question directly. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, well, we wear different jersey, but at the end of the day, we are still blood brother. Honestly, when it comes to a race, we still go out there to win. So, if we could use every advantage what we have, and if that being said, well, alright, my brother happens to me other things and say, oh, but then we ride together. Well, they don't know how to chase, right? So that leave it chasing to them. But that not necessarily mean that I would have just give my brother a win, especially if our significant win or something that the team really want to win. At the end of the day, we have to fulfill the team goals, and we have to satisfy the team. And I think at the end of the day, my brother understand that. But hopefully in the future, we'll have some changes.
Well, that's definitely a great dynamic, right? As far as this cross country, it's one of the biggest race on the calendar, and you get an opportunity to share that with your brother. The fact that you're competing against each other and then you're still brothers, regardless of who's helping who or whatever. For me, that's something I would appreciate as having an opportunity to do. Do you look at it that way as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I always have an open mind, so I think about other different scenarios, and I think I just kind of pick and choose the one we're best suited at the moment.
Certainly, certainly. And I know your family who has been supportive of cycling in general. A lot of young men came through that Chavarria cycling program. Jaiven is a former member of this Chavarria cycling team. There's a lot of champions, that came through that program. We go back a few years ago and we see a baby Chav in a Chavarria uniform to what he is today. It doesn't seem like it's that long. So, with that being said, I know your parents are very proud of you, Derek.
Yeah, they are. I mean, not only my parents, but my sisters, my brothers. I talk to my brother, not very much, but when we do have conversations, it's very meaning and long conversations to talk about, pretty much everything, life, cycling careers, whatever definitely talk about. But I definitely appreciate every single one of them. So I have to say my family have my back through thick and thin, whatever comes my way. It's not just my problem, but also my family's problem. And they help me walk through it, either it be advice or whatever. So definitely appreciative to them.
And Dave, we know that Georgeville is probably home of cycling right now. Out in the west, Jaiven has a huge support system there. Perhaps you guys want to give a little shout out to your support system before we take a break.
Well, have to thank God first, my main supporter, through him everything possible, so also want to thank, my Mama G Flo. She support me, and sometimes I sit on home and my mother would say like, okay, ride it. No, you're not gonna ride it. If I go ride it, I just like go do an hour or something like that. She like, oh, you come back too quick. You have to go back to ride again. But big up my mama, my sisters, my uncle, my cousin, my auntie, brother, sister, they're behind me, support me fully in the cycling thing. I when I take it up from a small age, I had my sister and my mom and everybody they behind me. So without them, never me I up there. I have my uncle right now. Give me the best advice. Even if I have to do nothing with cycling, I can always reach out, give him a call, and he help me through that, because he been through it, and they just want to see something good come out of what I do. So I always have to big up there. Same thing with my cousin, big help. The man always help me out cycling. They behind me, full support. I big up also Mr. Carman Williams. Tell her in the best way possible, the sweetest way. But if he not tell her like that way, because the man don't really care about, So that's also have to big up Mr. Carman Williams. Big up the Williams brothers. Help me out with the equipment I'm using now. They're a big help. They give me a lot of exposure outside here and they're racing. Also, I also want to big up my main sponsor, Mr. Glenn Flowers. Without him, I remember the first time the man approached me and the man asked me if I want to ride for G4. So I really have to thank the man for that. The man really helped me a lot. Really appreciate what the man do for me. A lot of people like throw shade against the man or bash the man or anything like that. But Mr. Glenn really step up to the plate, and I feel like he carries cycling to a next level. Without him cycling, me want to be. I think he never made a way there right now. When a lot of guys talk about the races, even when we travel, and hey, you're from Belize, yeah, man. I said, man, I heard about a race in Belize cross country, man. I love to do that race, the exposure they get real, So big up to Mr. Glenn Flowers. Forget anybody, please forgive me.
Excellent.
Guys, good luck, man, and ride to win on Saturday, man. I'm a fan, so hey, I'll be out there.
Excellent, guys. Again, thank you guys very much. Thanks to the G-Flow team and management for allowing the opportunity for you guys to come on the show and for us to chat with you. For Dave and I, it's been a pleasure to have to be in the presence of two great young men. We wish you all the best on Saturday, and my hope is that one of you bring home the Garland for Belize.
Oh, and also, sorry, man. I also want to big up my coach, Ken Gould. He helped me get to this level where we at right now with the training. Can go from Cayman Islands. Help me with very good structured training. So super thankful for that.
Excellent.
it can definitely play a huge role in our upcoming. Within the past, I'd say like 5 months. The training definitely been way different. So big up Ken, big up Mr. Glenn, Mr. Oswald. All these guys are huge supporters of myself, not only myself but also Team Vito and all its members. So and Mr. Sanchez. So thanks everybody.
Perfect, guys. With that being said, I know we can continue talking all night, but we'll grab a break and then we'll be right back.
I know I believe, John. Of course, I will make sure the place clean, especially the places then where we treasure.
I don't believe, of course I have a bag for my garbage in my car.
I don't believe, of course. I believe that all of we should do for we part to protect the environment.
I don't believe and of course I teach my picnic from small enough to throw garbage on the ground.
I don't believe, of course, on and off the court. We unite as a team to keep Belize clean.
As Belizeans, let's trash the habit and not the beauty.
the Garland, the road to glory. Folks, what a wonderful night we are having here, straight out of the BWS here on the Central American Boulevard. I'm joined by the man in the hot seat, the president of the Cycling Federation, Mr. Glenn Flowers. Good night, Mr. Glenn.
Good night, everyone. I'm not in the best seat I would like to be in tonight, but I'm here, so I'm ready.
I know these guys have some questions for you. I don't know who wants to start out first.
Well, first off, Mr. President, welcome to the show tonight. We know that you're a busy individual in a position like the president of the Cycling Federation of Belize. There's a lot of rules, there are a lot of responsibilities that you do have. First off, we'd like to commend you on the great job that you're doing so far. I think all of us here can agree that cycling is in a better place than it has been. One of the questions I would like to ask you to start off with, taking over the leadership of the Cycling Federation of Belize, Glenn, what has been one of your biggest challenge as far as that position is concerned, just taking over?
One of the biggest challenges is to get everybody on board to, communicate and to follow guidelines and so forth. It's really tough to please everybody. That's the toughest part of the whole scenario there, to please everybody, because there's a lot of mixed emotion. There's a lot of, this one won't like this one likes that, and it's pretty tough to get everybody on board. But it's a tough job, but I'm trying my best and see how far it goes.
Fantastic. And what would you say is probably your best success up to date?
My best success is to see that we're moving into a different level. The cycling has definitely moved from one level that it was before to a higher level now. We are racing internationally a lot. A lot of the cyclists is improving a lot, so that's one of my biggest success so far.
Fantastic.
Mr. President, I have a couple questions. The first question would be, I know that one of the most challenging things for you is financially. And when I say financially is, especially with national teams, to get the riders to participate outside of Belize. You have, and I commend you very much for that. You're a better man than I am. You have used quite a bit of your personal money to have the national team travel. Can you tell us what you find are the obstacles in getting financing for the national team?
It's pretty tough, like you said there, Bizet, but we have the Olympic Committee who has our backbone to go to and try to get resources from them, but it's been slow coming. They're just starting to come around. We have used a lot of the CCU international body to guide us as to how to get resources, to get funds, and so forth. Late this year, or early this year now, we have the BTB who has been supportive of us and trying to help out. So it looks like it's going into the right direction, but definitely there's more resources that we need to source out to get funds for traveling and so forth.
Definitely, definitely. Another question that I would like to ask you is, I know that we have quite a bit of stuff to promote what's going on, but we seem not utilizing it. For example, I know we have, the Federation has a web page and all of that. And to me, I think we're not utilizing it to the utmost. For example, like main things like our Constitution is not on there, the criteria for riders to come to Belize, and stuff like that. I think these are things that maybe we need to try and synergize with different parts of the community to help us to promote that.
Yes, indeed. It's our second year going into it, and it's all volunteer time. And most people that volunteer their time has their, permanent job. And so it's kind of hard. But again, as we're moving forward, we're getting the resources together and we're getting more people to come on board and assist us, with their voluntary time and see how all these things that we're missing, we're putting them into places.
Definitely, definitely. But other than that, I'll pass on my time on to Dave and Andrew to see what questions they have for you.
Good night, Mr. President. So, it's a question, but at the same time, it's a comment. So, one of the things we have going on, in some of the group chats, most of the time, questions get raised about the vetting process. Some people find it where that there's a favoritism in terms of how the vetting process works, which I don't believe. So I was saying that I know that there was a criteria for the vetting process, and even when names are forwarded, not everyone get accepted, and sometimes when riders don't get accepted, and maybe for whether it's another team asks and they get turned down, sometimes the route that they take is to say that it's because favoritism or was because of so and so. So I just want you to explain that how the process works and how you decide on accepting someone, if you can do that.
We have our vetting crew indeed that takes care of that part. For the most part, it was a federation to federation invite. And there were some little mishaps there with back and forth, but for the most part, it was just a federation to federation invite. And then you have some of the riders who wanted to participate seek other riders from outside their federation. And for that reason, it wasn't accepted. But it wasn't like we just denied people from coming in.
No, I know the federation does have a list of criteria, like Dave said, right, Mr. President. One of the big, I guess the big criteria as far as allowing foreign competition would be no pro level.
Continental pro.
So no World Tour, no Continental Pro. If there's a pro attached to any team, they're not allowed to ride in Belize.
There has to be off the Continental team for 2 years.
Okay.
For a period of 2 years, and then they will be accepted then.
So outside of that, so as long as a rider meets that criteria, right? So again, not racing on a professional team for 24 months.
Correct.
They are allowed.
Correct.
To get an invitation from the Cycling Federation of Belize, and then in addition to that, they have to request, or would you guys invite them?
They have to request. We invite federation to federation.
Okay.
So we don't go outside of that. But if you send in your application, then we'll consider if you can or you're eligible to come in.
Okay. So to me, that sounds pretty straightforward.
One question relating to that, Mr. President. So you are saying that somebody needs to request that they want to ride the cross country, and we shouldn't just say the cross country, any of our events?
For the most part, if any events, they can come, but for the most part, everybody seems to want to do this cross country.
Because that's the biggest one, but we're making it known that it's any of our events.
Correct.
Correct. So you are saying that they must request, they must send in their request. Do we have like a deadline and say that you have to get in a request by some time period, or
yes, there is a deadline out there. There is a deadline for that.
For each race, is it a standard deadline, like 2 weeks or before the race?
Again, if you said each race, most races, they're all, you're welcome. But for the most part, there's the race for the Garland, the cross country. That's the most essential one that, there's a more stricter guideline to come in for that one.
Okay.
So one of the questions I want to ask also is, there is this scenario also where we have local teams. I want you to explain to that so no one get it misconstrued, where if you have a local team in Belize, right, you cannot have foreigners or racers from outside to come and ride for a local team.
No, that's not permitted. So in 2022, there was an amendment down there at the AGM where it was done to facilitate Oscar Kiros and Kaya Katus, who was racing on the national team. So while they were out there racing on the national team, they were able to bring 2 other riders to race back home with them. And that's what's set in 2022 by Ellen Will.
So is that a follow-up question to that, Dave? Is that still the process right now? If there is a Belizean rider that's riding on a international team, that rider can invite 2 of his teammates or her teammates to participate, and they'll be allowed to ride.
That is correct.
However, would that rider be allowed to ride on the local team or on that team?
It's kind of get tricky when they get to that way. So it depends on the foreign team, right? They, like in the example of Oscar Quiroz, when he was on the Miami Blazers, he was permitted to ride either or, whichever he wants to, right?
Okay.
So in other words, like when he was riding on the Blazers, he chose to bring his foreign riders. But if he's riding a local race, he rides on his 501 team.
Okay. So he could have in essence rode with Oscar Quiroz and 2 Miami Blazers as a Blazer team racing in the cross country, and then his other 6 guys or 7 guys from Valvoline would be a separate team.
Separate team. He done that in the past.
Okay.
Right, that's what he did. He actually had a
he done that
racer for Miami Blazer, because remember Johnny Brown was a Miami Blazer.
Yep, so they rode
if
for
I'm
Blazers.
not mistaken, rode for Miami Blazers. So yes.
And it happens in the Kaya thing as well. She rode for LA Sweat and brought her teammates.
Excellent. Well, it's just nice to kind of clear that up, because sometimes Dave, Andrew, and Steve, the viewers are seeing, you know, and they're seeing something happens out there, and they're coming up with their own narrative. But it's just to clarify, right? What's going on, and that's the rule as it is right now.
It still stands.
And I'm sure there'll be discussions as far as to tweak that if the need is there to do that. But
definitely so. At the AGM, that's where that would take place.
Excellent.
And when are we having another AGM, Mr. President?
That would be in November, if I'm not mistaken.
Usually in the off season.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. I've been seeing anything flying around about the. We don't want to stay too long on it, but it's worth mentioning about the record. The record that because of where the race is finished, when certain riders broke the record and now where it's finished. You know, people have been questioning if the record really is a record to stand by.
To answer that, I'm not sure if
You
I have
want
the
me to
right
answer
answer,
that
but
for you?
yeah, there's a different mile standard indeed, because it changes. I don't think that the 144 miles still standards today that we were doing. So if you go to the 144 miles back then for that mile post, it's not there anymore. So definitely I'm not too sure how to answer that question. It might be changed because there's less miles.
In my opinion, I would say the record should be taken off the last cross country, which would be last year that Luis Lopez won.
Exactly.
Being that we're going to have the same distance covered, Dave, Andrew, and Steve would be having the same distance covered, same start, same finish.
Correct.
Then that would be the record. If it's broken this year, that would be the record.
Particular record.
But if we go ahead and change the route in any shape or form, then we cannot consider it breaking that record. We'll consider it a new record per se.
Can I?
Of course.
Give you a scenario that I think is the right way to look at it. The record is the record for the cross country, because what happens is every year, especially here in Belize, that we're doing new road works. For example, back in Dave and Andrew and my day, the Mount Hope was way higher than it is now. So if we're going by specific distance, that cuts down. They are putting new roundabout. So the route, the distance is never going to be equal. So what you do, it goes by the last race. The last cross country time was 5:40 or whatever it is, and that's the record. And then the next year you have the cross country. The record, if they come in less time than that, they have broken the record. Because otherwise we're going to be back and forth every year. You're going to have somebody take a tape measure and measure it, and it won't be accurate.
I mean, the race, just to jump in, the race used to start on Barracks Road at the town clock. So what happened to those guys? Or used to go to Cairo and do 4 laps at the National Stadium.
Yeah, then it went to 2 laps.
So whatever the record is right now, whoever went the fastest from Belize to Cairo and back, that's the record.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's
the cross country says Belize to San Ignacio and back to Belize.
That is correct.
We have changed. We used to just go over the Hawksford and come right back
They go
over.
on La
Now we
Manos
go over
Boulevard.
La
That
Manos,
is-
over the new bridge. So the route has always, there's every year the route changes a little bit, but the basic route of Belize to San Ignacio and back to Belize is the same.
Well,
So
that is
that's
a
the way it
pretty
stays.
accurate question thing. I don't think anybody ever had tried to, get the correct distance for that thing anymore. Did you ever collect it on your?
No, I think it's around 136 the last time I did it, Miles. But I think what we're saying, we're all agreeing on, because sometimes even you have a lead out.
Sure.
Some years you don't have a lead out, some years you have a lead out, depending on road conditions. So I think the record of the cross country, the fastest cross country ever, should not be a conversation, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys would believe or agree with me on that, but as far as the fastest cross country of all time, that should not be a conversation as far as the record. I think what we should base on is every year. Okay, so for example, last year, being that the route was different from the year before, you can't compare those two times, right? This year, if it's the exact same route as Luis Lopez won, then if the time is faster, it is a new record. And which means that there's no lead out. If there's a lead out, that changes
No, but
the
there was a
conversation.
lead out last year.
No, I was saying, like, just if there's a lead out last year, then there has to be a lead out this year
Correct.
in order to consider it a new record, right? So we have to, that conversation about record, I don't even think it's important, in my opinion. I think it caused a lot more unnecessary conversation and conflict more than anything else. And it takes away from the prestige of the race and whoever.
No, I think we need to keep the record thing, because what happens is, like Dave brought up from the beginning, the race has changed, and we used to finish, like Dave said, in National Stadium. One time we finished at Memorial Park. Now we finish at Digicel Park. So, and the record that was broken last year finished actually at Memorial Park. So the point being is to just keep the talk about the record, because that excites people, that the fans love to hear the record is broken. We talk about Charlie Lewis being the greatest cross-country champion because the 3 years he rode, he broke the record 3 times. And he also did at least 2 different finishes, because one year he finished at the Abra. So all of that, right?
It's a bragging right for the rider himself.
So to me, we need to keep track and say this is the record. Right now, the record is held by Luis Lopez. And come Saturday, if they do a faster time, that will be the new record. Regardless of we have cut down the hill or made an extra turn or whatever, they went from Belize to San Ignacio and back. If you read on the original thing when the governor set up the race, he said Belize to San Ignacio and back.
Yeah, thanks, Miss. Maybe move to tomorrow, Thursday, Holy Thursday. I think maybe you could shed light and exactly understand that you have a parade. A lot of the fans asked back for parade, and I know you have the introduction of the teams. Maybe you could share that with the fans. They really want to know what is the scenario if you have one parade and then the team, the introduction of the teams.
Yeah, we're trying to have the parade. It's a tradition, and we'll try to keep it as traditional as possible. So we are going to have that parade tomorrow. We're asking that our teams participate, at least 4 riders to come out there and participate to bring back that tradition in that parade. So we are asking the support of all teams to come out there and have that parade, be a success as well.
When is starting?
Didn't get that confirmation for the start
I
time.
do have that information here, Mr. President. So the parade is, well, first off, distribution of race numbers and chips, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The parade will be 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Around Belize City. And then that follows with a technical meeting for managers only at the Belize Olympic and Commonwealth Office from 6 to 6:45. So
there you have it.
Team presentation will be 7 to 9 at DigiPark. So that's the flow of the event, guys, for tomorrow. And on behalf of the Cycling Federation, you'd definitely like to welcome all the teams. And like you said, a minimum of 4 riders.
In uniform.
In uniform, that's correct.
Can you repeat that time again, D?
So the parade is between 5 and 6, from 5
Starts
to 6.
at 5.
Mhm.
Where start?
It would be the
That's normally where it starts at.
Digipark.
Is that the Digipark? Okay.
Digipark. So this year they're changing and starting at Digipark. We
Okay.
used to start behind the courthouse.
Gotcha. Excellent. I think, in my opinion, I don't know, guys. I'd like to hear your take on this. For the 5 cross countries that I've participated in, I've always made an effort to do the parade. I just think, again, I am big on giving back to the people who are, watching us, like who are supporting us. For Belizeans, the cross country is a significant race, and that's why there's so much talk about it. There's so much pride when it comes to that race, right? I always say, Dave, like, you can't really call yourself a cyclist in Belize if you haven't at least tried one cross country. Right. I've been lucky to do 5 of them, and I think everyone here has lined up for a cross country before. But I encourage the young riders to pridefully participate in things related to cycling when it has to do with giving back to the fans. Dave, Andrew, and Steve. For me, it has always been something I was excited to be a part of. I dress in my full uniform like I was going to race. Like I'm going to race the Holy Saturday race, and I come out and I try to interact with the fans, and I would encourage all the riders to show up. Let's give back to the community, because again, these are some of the people that are going to be supporting you in your journey. What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
Totally agree.
It's traditional. It should be take part. I mean, most of the time your fans come out and see you and greet you on that day on Thursday. So actually, when I used to do it, courthouse, it used to be crowded, man. A lot of people used to go to the Red Angel. Yep. That was a big thing. And we had actually part of it like motorcade, because you actually had cars in the parade, and they had someone with a bugle, and you had somebody doing interview too, like you ride up to a car and they have stuff, and one of those. So it really got that over the years, people move away from that.
What's nice too? Some of the non-cyclists, that people are just fans on their beach cruiser riding along.
Exactly.
I found that to be very.
Yeah, it's a very traditional thing. Remember, in the old days, most guys didn't have different colored jerseys when this race first started. Right. So, they would have on their numbers, and people could then say, okay, Dave is wearing 5 or whatever number. And, they were able to do that, because now we have more visual. In those days, it was radio. Well, radio, and before radio, they used to be, my mom used to tell me about this, that when the race first started, it would be just like transport trucks that were running on the road would come in, and they had a big blackboard at the Palace Theatre, and they would write and put Dave Dearwood leading at mile 10 or whatever, right? And that's where we have built this race to where it is now, that people around the world will tune in on Saturday and enjoy the race. Yeah. So we've come a long way.
So guys, that was a long night, but I know one left before I do any prediction. It could be quick enough to be long, because it's the time already, 10 o'clock already, and so many guys I want to go home. Quick thing, prediction. What do you think about the?
Andrew, before we get into that, can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Being a leader is a hard job, right? Also being a leader, you're responsible for a lot of tough decisions, right? Mr. Glenn Flowers is the leader of the Cycling Federation of Belize. He has been sitting in the hot seat for quite some time now, and I'm sure he's enjoyed some of it, but it has taken a toll on you as well. And from us, guys on this panel here, and as the wheels turn, and most Belizeans, what I want to say is thank you for graciously taking on that responsibility, because a lot of folks do the talking, but very few are willing to step up and lead. And for that, I want to commend you for doing that, and you're doing the best job that you possibly can. I know where your heart is. I know you're passionate about this sport, and from what I've seen over the last, I would say, 24 months or so, 18 months or so, what we've been able to do on the international scene is significant. That takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of resources. you are behind a lot of that, Glenn. So to kind of spread a little bit of positivity here and cheer you up a little bit for this big event, I want to congratulate you on the job that you're doing, and you know, cycling is in a better place today.
Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. It takes a lot indeed. I started off back maybe about 10 or 8 to 10 years ago, moving the guys from Belize. Went around picking up a whole bunch of the guys who was on different teams, taking them out to the U.S. and start racing out in the U.S. And that was my passion, to race both locally and internationally. You know, and I do own my own team and try to push them as hard as I could. We've been running a lot of races internationally and local, and my guys are doing really good. Best of luck to them on this Holy Saturday. I am rooting for them myself, you know, hopefully for them to take that Garland home with us, you know. The guys are in good shape. They're doing well. I'd like to welcome all the foreigners that's coming, all the locals, you know, a blessed and safe race on Holy Saturday, and may the best man win.
Definitely.
Guys, just before I make that prediction, remember, stop by the bike shop and you could purchase the traditional magazine. It's out and it's at $10 a piece. You could pick up some t-shirts. They have some t-shirts, the cross country race 2025. You still have a Catchy Bull shirt. You have shirts where mark blow to smithereens. You have one that's scattered like Skittles as a return. So stop by and dress for the occasion, Holy Saturday. So, you know, fans know you represent, right? So we could get into our predictions.
Starting where? You want me to start with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys.
So, what are we predicting? Top 10? Top
1?
First place.
All right.
The win.
1 man. Okay, well, I will do one prediction. If you've been following me, I don't predict. So I will start off and say, I know of 5 people that won't win cross country. And that's Dave Yarwood, Andrew Ordonis, Glenn Flowers, Dwayne Wade, and Stephen Bissett. Those 5 will not win the cross country, and I will pass the mic on.
Well, hold on, the registration not closed yet.
No matter what, those 5 ain't winning.
The registration not closed yet.
No matter what, them 5 not win. Give it to you in English, Creole, and mix up.
Dave does serious content, you know. Anyways, thanks a lot, Biss. So Biss not like to go out on a limb, right? I don't know why, but I like to make predictions, and I will predict. Actually, I will give you 5 Belizeans because I'm not worried about the foreigners, right? I will give you 5 Belizeans who can compete for this victory, and we'll start with 2 guys who are in the room tonight: Derek Chavarria, Jivin Gonzalez. The reason I'm picking them first and foremost is that they've been 2 of the most consistent guys in Belizean cycling over the last. Let's just go from the first of the year, right? There's no secret to that, and as we know, victory comes with consistency. So we'll go there. My next would be Oscar Quiros. Oscar won this race before, so he has the experience, he knows how to win. I think Oscar's been training very, very well. I think one of the disadvantages that Oscar has is that his team is not as strong as a G-Flow team or even Alliance, right? I think that's kind of the issue. What he's going to have to do is learn to get over the hump. We've had guys who came here before without a teammate and win big races in the name of Luis Lopez, in the name of John Delong, right? Winning big races. So that we cannot use as an excuse. I think he's prepared. I think he has the experience to win the race. So I will go with Oscar. The next one I will go with will be Carlton Robinson. Carlton has been 4th. He was 4th in this race last year. He can definitely win this race. He has a very strong team. And I think in addition with him, I will go with Goran Gabriel. I think a race like this fits Goran very well. If you notice, he does very well in the long, hard races. And they've got a pretty good team. They've got a strong team. They've got some good domestiques on that team. They've got a senior leader on that team in the name of Byron Pope. So I would pick those guys, and that would be 5. Is that 5? Derek, Jiven, Carlton, Oscar, and Goran.
Okay, next.
My top 5 would be starting off with Derek Chavarria. You got Jiven Gonzalez. You got Oscar, you got Corey Williams, you got definitely Goran Gabriel. That would be my pick.
Thanks.
You did have I going to ask.
Got a mic, Dave.
Give me the mic.
You have a mic by you.
Go ahead.
You have a mic by you.
Quick pick, and it's very, very close. And I want to tell you why. If I should pick one rider, I'll pick Corey Williams, and let me tell you why. Corey Williams been second before. He's a well-rounded rider, meaning he could sprint, he could climb, he could pace. He have a strong team around her. And the close second, I would say Derek Chavarria, because he got one of Derek's flaws to me was his sprinting ability, but now he showed me that he could sprint now, so that take him out, that make him rounded. With his international experience, that will put him up right there with Corey. So it would be a situation where if it comes down to him and Corey, who are the stronger person at the finish line. But then two riders right there. Jiven not quite ready yet. I still give Jiven another year. You can ride well. You can be in the top 10, but I don't see him right there, because winning, you have to have that little edginess about you. And a little cockiness. I don't see it in a Jiven, but I see it in a Chav. I see that confident talk and that bravado in here and Corey, so that ain't two there. And remember, you have a strong team now, so.
Well, I talk about the win. I didn't go in with top 5, that's what the win. So, being a commentator over a couple of years, seeing how the riders rode their development, I will have to go with Derek Chavarria. And my reason is, I have seen his progress, and I will say this, I'll go out and say this. If his team works as a team Saturday, he will be the winner. I love Jiven, but like you said, Jiven will have his turn. But this year, I have Derek, because I have seen the growth that he have, and he can piggyback. We know that other teams are coming in; they will work for certain riders, but he have shown the tenacity. He have shown this kid is brave. I watch him from a kid coming right up, and so I would have to pick Derek if I had to pick a champion this year. So Derek is my pick.
I want to give you a quick take. No, I want to give you a quick take, which is good. The thing that the reason why I said Jiven is a little bit off, not there yet, because what I look for in a rider, how they deal with adversity, right? If you could deal with adversity in a race and still ride well, I always give you edge. Not too many riders built for adversity. They ride for just everything goes well. Chav has shown me, and Corey, because Corey got flat, I think I might have been in first at January race. And they show me most guys, when they have mishaps, they get discouraged. And so I watch for that, and that's the making of a champion, to deal with adversity.
Folks, we could go all night, but we have reached our limit. I think we're going over the time. I believe we might cover next thing Friday. We might, so we'll give you details, but we want to thank each and every one who tuned into the show tonight. It was an awesome show, great guests. So many people came here. I mean, it really shows that cycling is the #1 sport in Belize, and the fans love it. You see the amount of attention and the growth it have made. We want to big up the Cycling Federation of Belize. We want to big up their returns to come together. We want to big up the BWS for having us here in this beautiful room. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys on the panel, all the guests, like I said, the guys behind the cameras, people from the Cycling Federation. Thank you all. Have a blessed night. We see you tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday, and then Holy Saturday, the big event. With that said, have a blessed night. God bless.